All right, so Chris, you got to share that story from the book and how you got your nickname, because that was freaking wild, man. Like I
Yeah.
was reading that, it was in the car rider line reading that story, and I was like, "This is awesome, man!" Just getting a rush from reading it. Can you share that with our listeners?
Yeah, the parachute story.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right. So I graduated the Q course at a time where they were doing free fall for all. Everybody that graduates gets to go to free fall school, which was awesome. All the older dudes were like super salty because they didn't get that when they went through the Q.
Hmm.
And so I show up to my first team in Germany with free fall wings, and everybody's like, "Do push-ups, you new guy." And
Not Asian guy.
right, Asian guy or new guy, right? So while I was in Germany, additionally, weather isn't always great to do airborne operations. So actually, for the 3 years I was there, I didn't jump a single like high altitude or free fall jump. I did
Wow.
a couple of static lines, but no free fall. When I get assigned to a team here in Colorado, I'm fortunate enough it's a free fall team. I was like sick, and our first trip together was to go down to Arizona and do a requal. Admittedly, I was a little nervous because I was like, man, I haven't done this in a minute. We'll see how it goes. So they kind of put me in the middle of the stack, and like Monday morning, it's just a slick jump. It's a Hollywood jump, just your parachute, your altimeter, and helmet. Just to kind of shake the dust off or getting on the same page. So we get up to altitude. It was like 14,000 feet. Do our final safety checks. Ramp drops open. First couple guys exit. I'm in the middle of the stack. I jump out, get on heading. Had a great exit. Get on heading, pull ripcord. Everything goes perfect. I was like, dude, piece of cake. It's like riding a bike. And as the week progresses, we just start adding more and more equipment to ourselves until Friday, we're doing a wall locker jump. Everything in our wall locker is attached to us now. So I had a rucksack between my legs, rifle across my waist, oxygen tank, the mask, chest rig with the boat compass and the GPS. We all waddle out to the aircraft. We get up to altitude, and I'm feeling great at this point. I'm like, dude, I remember how to do this. I'm good. Ramp drops open. First couple guys exit. I jump out. Had a great exit. Get on heading. Pull ripcord. Look up. I've got line twists. And if you're going to have a parachute malfunction, that's the one to have. It's super easy to fix. You just grab your lines, pull them apart, kick your legs. You eventually unwind. You're good to go. So that's what I was doing. And for those listening that like aren't aware of like the different styles of parachutes, like a typical airborne parachute it's essentially tethered to the aircraft and it deploys for you. It's a big box and it just drops you to the ground relatively safely. Free fall chutes, they're just like civilian skydiving. Like you've got control over it. You pull your own ripcord and all that stuff. But they're designed in such a way that for every like vertical foot you drop, it drives you forward 3 feet. So you can actually travel long distances in the sky and stacked up together, which is awesome. But while I'm trying to unwind myself, my chute like kicks me out sideways and then starts driving me towards the earth due to the shape of the canopy. And then I begin to spiral. And so like I'm whipping through the sky and I'm like shouting expletives at my canopy, like, dude, why aren't you working? You should be working better. And I'm still trying to like unwind myself and I'm like
Yeah.
parallel to the earth at this point.
Jeez,
Uh,
man.
Eventually like all the blood's like rushing to my feet because I'm just getting like spun around like I don't know, something that spun around really fast. But my vision's closing in and eventually like kind of at the last second, I'm able to unwind my lines. And then I grab my brakes and just yank them. And that levels me out. So I'm under good canopy, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But now I'm like just crazy dizzy because I just spiraled for like 5,000 feet through the sky. And that's when like the chaos really ensues because I'm looking all over. I can't find any of my buddies. And that's when they all start yelling at me over the radio, like, Chris, turn around. You're going the wrong way. Chris, go left. No, your other left. Chris, check your GPS. And so I'm looking down at my GPS and that sucker's just spinning in circles because like
Oh
I'm
man.
just so dizzy.
Yeah.
And then finally Matt, super senior guy on the team. I love this dude. super calm. He comes over the radio. He's like, "Hey, Chris, turn towards the sun." We were jumping in the morning, and our drop zone was generally east of us. And so I look around, sun's right behind me, so I hit a hard left turn. About that time, Andy kind of swoops in front of me and then like guides me, and like we all land on the DZ together. And I pull off my mask. I'm just dry heaving, and um, it was a little hairy for sure. But
Yeah.
the joke is like, if you have a malfunction with your parachute, you have the rest of your life to figure it out. You know.
Didn't you get a nickname out of that though?
So when I took Matt out for beers later that night, he did explain to me that what I experienced, he refers to as the Phoenix phenomenon,
That's
and
right.
that may
Yeah.
be what you're referring to. And so in our shoots, like there's a device called a Cypress, and if I were to exit the aircraft and like was just unconscious, just falling at terminal velocity through the sky, at some point that Cypress would recognize that I'm falling too fast. And once I hit a certain altitude, it would fire and deploy my reserve for me. And so like, even if I was
Okay.
unconscious, it could potentially like land me safely.
Okay.
But Matt was telling me, he was like, dude, because you were spiraling, you weren't falling fast enough for that to have engaged. And so you would have just
Mm.
burned in like a Phoenix. I was like, oh, okay. Good to know.
Jeez.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that how'd you feel the next time you jumped? Were you thinking about that, or did you just kinda put it past you and go about your business?
I was nervous for sure. So that was a Friday, and
Mhm.
the team had planned, like, for dudes that didn't have their civilian skydive license. The plan was Saturday that we were going to drive up to Phoenix and everybody get qualified on the civilian side. And
Okay.
and I had already planned to do that, and I was kind of at a point where it's like, dude, if I don't do this on Saturday, I'm gonna be nervous all the way up until Monday. I kind of got like get back on the horse and like just jump
Yeah.
again, you know. And so I wound up doing that. So Saturday, did a jump, got civilian qualified, and then I was fine for the rest of our trip there.
Nice. Nice.